Hi everyone, it's Clovis from KinematicLAB. FurGuides Painter is a new tool which will drastically speed up your hair and fur workflow. If like me you are tired to try to brush hair and fur using the given brushes because it just takes too long to have the results you need, this tool is definitely for you. You will almost never have to use the hair and fur or All-Matrix brushes anymore, and your fur styling will never take more than 10 minutes or maybe less. So let's start. So there are 3 layers of control. The first one is an overall guides painter, which will allow you to paint directly on the mesh the directions you need. So I will pick the mesh. Okay, now it says that I have to pick an editable mesh object, so I will just convert this to editable mesh and pick it again. Right, and then I can draw the guides on the mesh. So as you can see here, there is a mirror option which is enabled. So I will just let it like that. I have my guides. Okay. The second layer is really to create the guide themselves, and there are a few options in this layer to drive them. So I will create the guides, scatter guides here. Okay. So basically there is a guide on each vertex. Alright, and then the first option is like we have in the hair and fur modifier, recomb from spline tool, which will just simply recomb the guides along the overall guides we painted before. So I will check this option, and that's it. So now the little red guides are trying to follow as much as they can the biggest yellow guides. Okay, so you still can modify these yellow guides. So you can draw more guides, okay, and recomb again, okay, or you can just select these guides and remove some of them. It's just a spline. It's really simple to do. Just select some guides, remove them, and draw again. So I will just disable this mirror option and paint more guides really quickly. Okay, and recomb from guides again, and that's it. They are trying to follow these big guides. Okay, so this is really like hair and fur is working, more or less. The second option is really interesting because it gives you in only one click a good natural looking fur flow, and I quite always use this option on the examples I showed on the previous video. For example, the dog example is just using this one click auto flow and no brushing at all. So to use it, you just have to pick a starting vertex or a group of vertices. So I pick this vertex, press autoflow, and it just from this position trying to distribute the direction of the fur in a sort of natural looking or logical flow. So if I pick one vertex like that, I just can pick in the center here to show you. So it's just spreading along the surface directions. You can pick a group of vertices. Okay, it starts from here to there. Okay, so as you can see, you can pick also different groups of vertices. Okay, so it really spread the directions from this area and this area, this one too, and there is of course a sort of collision area here, so it tries to distribute as much as it can. So that's it. Then you have some options here which are global options. So there is a collide button. So in here you can't see anything, but it tries to keep the guides out of the mesh. This is an option to bend only the tips. Okay. This one is to bend the roots. You can adjust them together. Okay. The all option here is doing a sort of global rotation on each guide. Okay, always following the direction it gives. And the scale, of course, is scaling each guide. So these are global controls to control all the guides in one spinner. Okay. So now there is a third layer which able you to brush the guides with really easy brushes. So these are almost the same controls. So there is a tips option, a roots option, an all option, a scale option, and then you have a direction brush, a collide brush, which is doing the same as the collide button here, and a relax brush. So if, for example, I want to change the directions here, I said that I have my direction. So let's say it's almost okay, but I want to change some bits. So I will use the direction brush, and I can paint my direction. You can change the radius of the brush here, depending on the scale of your model, of course. So it's working in symmetry. You can just remove or disable this option to continue to paint really as you want. So the mirror option is working only in the front view. Okay, so if you want to use this mirror ability of this tool, have to put your model in the symmetry axis, okay, aligned here in the center of the view in front view, which is quite logical. I will probably add an option to change the axis in the next release. So this is the direction. Okay, you can change the radius, you can change the strength of the brush, which is not really useful for the direction, but all the other options will need this value. The fall of value, as you will see, for example, when I brush here, the effect is exactly the same in the center of the brush here and around it too. So it can sometimes go some, you can see some weird directions here, which is not really smooth. So you can just increase this value. 1.5 or 2 is enough sometimes. So as you can see here, it's smoother. On the border, it's just a file of options. Okay, so we'll just let it to 1 and show you the other options. So the tips one, as expected, is bending the tips of the guides when they are into the brush. Okay, the root is doing the same for the roots. The all option is doing this global rotation. Oh, and on each on each painting options here on each brush, if you press the Alt button, it will do the inverse effect. Okay, so without Alt it's positive, and with Alt it's negative. Okay, so it's the same if you want to do the negative effect. So if you find it doesn't go fast enough, you can just increase this value and the effect will be faster. Okay, for example, if you really have a lot of guides and a big brush like that, it can be a bit slow. Not here, but if you have a full character, a full creature, sometimes you just have to increase this value a bit more. Okay. All right. The scale option. Okay, is scaling the guides, of course. With Alt, it's just scaling down. All right. The collide brush here will just push all the guides on the mesh. Okay. Then you can use the other brushes if you want. An important brush here is the relax brush. I use it all the time because just because sometimes you do some things which are wrong, some weird directions here again and here. It's not really smooth and natural looking, and also sometimes it's doing a sort of zero scale on some guides here, for example, which was the starting point of the autoflow. So with the relax brush you can relax all the effects, the tips, roots, all scale, direction, etc. Okay, sort of average effect. So here it was a bit strong because of the radius of the brush, but if I do a direction like that, for example, and another side here, you can just relax just a part of it like that. Okay, and it's the same if you did some really strong scale here and you want this part to be a bit smoother in the scale too, just can relax. Okay, it will really relax all the parameters to have something smoother and nicer, this part. So it's a really important brush. Okay, so that's it for this example. It was really simple on the plane. Let's start again with something just more 3D. I'll just create a simple sphere. Okay, I convert it into mesh. Okay, I run the tool, I pick it. I will not use the guide because I think you understood the idea. I scatter the guides, so as you can see it follows the normal direction of each vertices. Then I will use the autoflow option. Okay, so it starts from here, try to distribute along the mesh. As you can see here, some of the guides are going into the mesh. I don't want that, so I will use the collide button. Okay, if it's not enough here, you can use the all option, etc. The scale, the global options here, or just the collide brush if you want to be sure everything is colliding on the mesh. Okay. And so, just to show you that these brushes are working in 3D too, Okay, so then the idea is not to use these guides as fur, because you can't really. It's just a spline. You will just use them to drive the fur itself, created by the hair and fur modifier. So I will just put an hair and fur modifier on the mesh, and in the tools here have a button saying recomb from splines. So we'll just use the guides to recomb the hair and fur, and it will work. Okay, so now the only thing you have to do is just adjust the number of the hair for your project, change all the options you want. Okay, the root, just think that basically when you create an hair and fur modifier there is some value here, and I prefer to let to 0 if I don't want too much changes from the guides. Okay, because it will just bend them a bit more. Okay, as you can see. So then it's up to you to change these parameters, choose the render engine you want, change the materials, etc. Apply a V-Red shader, for example. And then if you want to adjust the guides, just have to disable this and continue to paint if you want to paint. And then you can enable this and pick with recomb from spline the guides again, and it will work. Okay. So everything is in a layer named FurGuides system. You have the guides themselves and an object which store the parameters. Okay, now I will show you another type of option to really draw hair guides. So this is quite useful to do the fur, okay, or some short hair. But if you really want to do some special hair shapes, special hair direction, curves, etc., long hairs, you can use this. It's not perfect for the moment. I still have to add some options on it, but it's really useful. So I will show you this on a head mesh. Okay, so now on this head I will just use the FurGuides Painter here, which is really different of the other one. So the other one I just pick the mesh and generate some guides on each vertices. Here I will really paint the curves I want to use on the mesh and in the air too. So if I just use it, I can draw some guides like that, okay, on the mesh. So it's really cool to draw little hair like that, okay, or to draw a nice beard here with the flow you want. Okay, I do that really quickly because, as you can see, it's really fast and easy to do. Okay, can do a nice mustache. Yeah, whatever. Okay. And if now you want to draw different curves, okay, just have to press the shift button and start from the mesh here. So I start to draw here, and then as you can see the hair is going in the air, okay, in a plane, in a virtual plane which is parallel to the perspective view, okay, to the camera used by 3ds Max. Okay, so it's not really useful to do the hair, just to show you the idea. So I still can delete some of them, okay, and do it again. So it needs a bit of practice to really understand the direction, okay. Because it's drawing each curve on a parallel plane which start in the point you pick, and which is really parallel to the perspective view. So for example, if you want to do some crazy hair like that, so you will really need to practice it to really understand. As you can see, some of them are going in the wrong side because I was not aligned in the right angle. So I will probably change some bits in it to be more practical. I still don't know, so if some of you have ideas or advices for that, or just needs, just tell me. But for the moment, it's how it works, and it's not that bad if you understand the idea. Okay, so it's really quickly done, but with a bit of patience and practice, you will be able to do some really good hair direction. Okay. Okay, little hair like that. So if you don't like some of them, you can just select and delete. It's really easy. Okay. What a nice haircut. So now what you just have to do is add the hair and fur modifier and pick the guides. Ooh, really nice. I love that guy. He looks like me. Okay, so of course it's up to you to add some maps. Okay, to drive the hair density, scale, etc., or just use the selection that you can do quickly like that. Okay. What a nice character. Okay. Okay, so that's a bit crazy, but you can do whatever you want, and if you really want to, you can still use the styling brush here. I really don't like, because it's just a real pain in the ass to have the result you want. Okay, but you still can use them. Alright, I hope that's useful for you. Cheers.